Okay, and the latest now from the MSCI Market Classification Review 2015. China A shares will not be added to the MSCI Emerging Markets Index this time, but MSCI has mentioned the possibility of inclusion as soon as the major accessibility issues are resolved. Even outside the regular schedule of its annual Market Classification Review, in its announcement, MSCI says that it expects to include China A shares in its global benchmarks after a few important remaining issues related to market accessibility, such as quota allocation process, capital mobility restrictions and beneficial ownership have been resolved. MSCI and the China Securities Regulatory Commission, or the CSRC, will form a working group to contribute to the successful resolution of these issues. To talk more about that, we have Irene Cheung of ANZ Research joining in on the phone line. Irene, hi, thanks very much for joining in. Can you just tell us what investors or analysts have made of the MSCI decision that eventually we will see China A shares included, but it's just a matter of time?
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Yes, I think the market was, some people were expecting the inclusion of the China A shares in the MSCI index, and the announcement was a little bit disappointing for those people who are looking for such a move, but for us, I think our take is that China is already in the process of liberalizing its asset markets and also capital flows. So I think it's on the way, and it's very much in line with what the central bank PBOC would like to achieve this year. The main objective is actually for the CNY to be included in the IMF's special drawing rights. So all actually is pointing in the same direction, and in the process of bidding for the inclusion in the SDR, I think some of the things that the MSCI is looking for, the couple of things that you mentioned just now, would be actually be achieved over time as well. So I think there is still a good chance that China A shares would be included in the coming year.
All right, Irene, thanks a lot for joining. Just wanted to know that do you think all the emerging market assets or the funds had front-loaded this and reassigned their weights to the emerging market portfolios, and do we see any unwinding happening from those countries after this review?
Well, actually, yeah, you're right. Some of the big funds have already included the China A shares. That has included the FTSE, the UK index. They have put the China A shares in the transitional indexes, and a very big bond fund, Vanguard, has already included China A shares in its emerging market funds. So I think from that perspective, I would say that some of the inclusion has already taken place. I don't think the announcement by MSCI would mean that there would be some scale back or a reversal of that trend. No, I would say that it's probably still. They made a move actually very recently, so I don't think it is totally contingent on the MSCI decision. So I would think over time the China A shares will still be an increasingly important component in the emerging market fund indexes.
Okay, Irene, quick last question then. When do you expect the China A shares to possibly be included? I was just reading one of the reports which indicate that not before late 2015. Would you concur?
Well, I think what I have read is that they could finalize the decision in time for year 2016 inclusion intra-meeting. So I would think the timeline is pretty much in line with the time table for the SDR as well. Not to say that the two things are the same, but what China is aiming to do in the next couple of months, I would think they would be very proactive in liberalizing the financial markets, including the stock market, the QFII holder system, which they have already been increasing it, So in the next couple of months, 4 to 5 months before the SR decision comes out, I would think all these liberalizations and increased flexibilities and capital convertibility all would be put in place as much as possible by the PBOC. So if you talk about sometime end of this year or beginning of next year for MSCI to make a move, I think that is still very much what we believe could be a timeline for that.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us, Irene. So that was Irene Cheung indicating that the MSCI could include the A-list shares as early as end of 2015 or beginning of 2016.